overgrown gorilla or mutant lizard, the lord of snakes or the largest predator shark in history, giant squid or anomalous crocodile. Which monster is stronger? Let's find it out. In this episode, you'll learn about the most dangerous creatures. King Kong and Godzilla. These two creatures have been known to the world since the days when movies were only black and white. Of course, for such a long period of existence at the box office, both characters have gained significant support and their own personal fan base. Some are convinced that King Kong will win the battle, while others favor Godzilla. But which one's right? Let's find out. Let's start with the giant ape, who always walks on two legs. This is his great advantage because not only he runs fast, but also knows how to use all sorts of improvised materials that help in battle. For example, King Kong can throw anything at his opponent using his powerful muscles and wide arm span. In addition to his powerful arms and legs, he has a huge fanged mouth. He's unlikely to be able to bite his opponents in half, but in general, powerful jaws have never hindered anyone. As for our semi-aquatic Godzilla, the lizard is much more maneuverable in water than on land. Although it has no aquatic features except for gills, it's quite possible that representatives of the Godzilla biological species return to the water, as, for example, the ancestors of modern whales did. In addition to spines and atomic breath, Godzilla has such a weapon as a powerful tail. Considering that it moves straight, the tail fits perfectly into the strategy of any battle and helps it great. Muscular legs not only support the lizard, but also give the tail additional impact force. At the same time, the beast can boast of its sharp hands and good jaws. As you understand, Godzilla would rely on its dangerous tail to fight, while King Kong, who is faster and more adapted to life on land, would use his physical agility and ability to make and throw weapons. King Kong bites harder, but Godzilla has longer and sharper teeth, and the lizard's skin is much tougher. A great option for Godzilla would be to put its shield forward like a porcupine does. With all of this in mind, we can conclude that the ape has no chance in water. On land, however, chances increase significantly but are still not favorable. Godzilla would probably be stronger in any environment. Megalodon and Titanoboa. That's a couple I think everyone knows. Even I've imagined them fighting each other more than once. They're truly great creatures of the past, which were once the most powerful and dangerous predators in the world. Which animal do you think will win this battle? Make a prediction and share your answer in the comments. In the meantime, I'll start by comparing their characteristics. Size. Meg is the clear winner. Even though the length of these creatures is approximately equal, the snake weighed about a ton, and a shark with a similar size would have weighed about 45 tons. That's almost 50 times more. Despite the significant superiority in terms of weight, Megalodon is not inferior to the snake in the speed of movement. They have equal speed. The abilities that Mother Nature has bestowed on both of them are truly amazing. Titanoboa, for example, can detect the heat coming from someone nearby, as well as feel vibrations. The giant shark, in turn, has a very keen sense of smell, combined with amazing eyesight. All this is necessary for it to track enemies in more murky water. It's believed that if someone splashed miles away from Megalodon, it could feel it. Offensive capabilities. Titanoboa attacks with its entire body, attempting to wrap itself around its opponent, strangle it, bite it, and eat it. Meg basically does the same thing, however it deals with its opponents shortly, because it has incredible jaws to which few creatures can oppose anything. It seems as if Titanoboa wouldn't stand a chance of winning this battle, doesn't it? However, we're forgetting one important point. Meg is not a maneuverable predator, and Titanoboa is a master of disguise. If it ambushes the enemy, it can deliver a lightning-fast strike, cling to important organs, and deprive the shark of the ability to move. Titanoboa will fight to the end because this is its only chance to win this fight. Otherwise, it'll lose to the legendary shark without a doubt. The difference in weight by 50 times cannot remain unnoticed. Kraken and Lizzie. The Kraken is a sea monster, often mentioned in legends and mythology. It's usually described as a huge sea creature with long tentacles and a giant body capable of sinking ships. On the other side of the ring today, we have Lizzie, a female crocodile that's been subjected to a mutagen infestation and has become a killing machine. Due to the specific method of infection, Lizzie has no control over her anger and destroys literally everything in her path. The Kraken cannot surpass her in terms of aggression, but it can do it in terms of size. While Lizzie is no more than 50 to 65 feet long, the height of the Kraken can be 100 feet or more. Its head is framed by huge tentacles, which can extend for several more feet. The weight of the Kraken is several tens of tons, making it one of the most massive sea creatures. At the same time, it perfectly disguises itself, remaining invisible to enemies even having such unreal size. As for Lizzie, the crocodile has tusks as sharp as those of an elephant. From her head to the tip of her tail, there are sharp spikes along her spine. Lizzie's powerful tail is crowned at the end with a kind of stick with sharp spikes. The monster's jaws are studded with huge, sharp teeth. Attacking the crocodile is not easy because her tough scales protect her from any threat, and even the most powerful guns of people can't do anything with the scales. The Kraken's tentacles won't do to it anything either. The only way the Kraken will win the battle is if it hides underwater and leaps at Lizzie using its entire body, pinning the mutant to the ground or attacking her from behind. In a head-on collision, the sea monster wouldn't stand a chance against the mutated crocodile. Titanothere and Sandworm. In every cool fantasy movie, there are some incredible monsters that have nothing to do with the main characters, live on their own, and are very dangerous. In Avatar, for example, there were hammerhead Titanotheres. They're similar to modern rhinos, except that they were much bigger, stronger, and faster. By the way, did you know that they were called Titanotheres for a reason? They got this name from the ability of their skull in the front to grow into a structure similar to a huge hammer, which is available only in adult animals. A Titanothere is born without this nice decoration. In young Titanotheres, the hammer consists mainly of cartilage, which provides it with sufficient flexibility when entering dense thickets, where these creatures can wander due to inexperience. But with age, the cartilage is saturated with minerals and turns into a heavy and strong bone that helps in battle. However, with great strength comes a big disadvantage in the form of poor eyesight. The good news is that nature has taken care of this creature's defense and has given it strong plates located at the back. Thus, no predator will be able to attack a Titanothere from behind and win immediately. However, there's no reason to attack it. It defends its home territory, which it never leaves, and is also a herbivore. This is not the case with the sandworms, which roams the expanse of the dunes and preys on anyone who makes the slightest vibration underground. Competing in size with the sandworm is a lost cause for any alternative monster. Its length exceeds 1,500 feet. The sandworms consist of hundreds of segments, each with its own primitive nervous system, which makes them almost invulnerable. Only water is destructive to them. Their jaws reach 260 feet in diameter and are studded with hundreds of teeth. When the writer invented these monsters, he was inspired by the legendary dragons protecting treasures, which destroy an enemy if they encroach on the sacred. I think that in this battle, the Titanothere has no chance of winning. But on the other hand, what animal would be able to deal with a sandworm? Something tells me none. Graboid and Skullcrawler. There are other worms in history, weaker but no less interesting. They're called the graboids. They're large invertebrates that hunt detecting sound. They exceed 33 feet in length and weigh up to 20 tons. The body of these monsters is framed in a kind of shell of dense skin. Curved spines up to several tens of centimeters long form rows, which in turn create rings around the body of the graboid. The graboids lack limbs and any other external features besides the head. Because of this, it's impossible to approach them and deliver even the slightest tangible blow. In addition, their throat is something perfect. something that can swallow any prey whole without chewing. At the same time, it's very elastic and can even digest enemies larger than the graboids. But the opponent of these worms is not as simple as it seems. Skull crawlers, immediately after birth, have a height of 13 feet and a length of about 33 feet. Quite similarly, skull crawlers grow up to 30 feet in height and 66 feet in length with a body weight of 40 tons. For you to understand, the largest individual was even twice as big. The creature's main feature is that they're able to shift their jaw to be able to swallow larger prey. Using only 2 limbs, skull crawlers move at incredibly high speeds, easily outrunning fast-running prey. Their skin is very tough from birth, and their teeth are long and sharp, ready to chop any offender. I don't think they'd have a problem defeating the graboids. Animals hardly know what electricity is. Now I'll show you some animals that didn't get spared by it. A leopard hung on the wires. This story was shocking to many. Somehow the leopard magically climbed up the pole with electrical wires, got tangled in them, and of course got a hefty dose of electricity. As a result, the animal fell from a height and lost consciousness while in flight. The electric shock was most likely fatal, but there are people in the comments who believe that the leopard survived and only lost consciousness. What do you think? Is it realistic to survive something like that? Or is it a fatal end anyway? Walking on wires. While the larger animals tangle in the wires, the smaller, nimble monkeys manage to stroll through them, and they do it playfully, wagging their tail and looking around. People couldn't get past this action and of course took their cameras. Eyewitnesses managed to film this filigree walk on the wire and leap of faith, which I would rate a high score. But the man didn't film the best part. I don't know how it's realistic to yank the camera so hard, but the author of the video did just that. It feels like the monkey was teleported into another dimension at the moment of the electric shock, because it's hard to explain this deathly silence and special effects in any other way. The authors of the video didn't tell whether the monkey was later found on the ground and what became of it, so you can put forward your theories in the comments. Epic video. These are exactly the words I would use to describe what happened in the following story. This time a bigger monkey, a chimpanzee, was once again interested in electric wiring and got to the very top of the poles. On the plus side, there were some real professionals involved in the animal rescue operation. People walked not far from the monkey and moved with the animal in unison to catch it in a pinch. No one knew for sure exactly when an electric shock might occur. And then, after a little more than 1 minute of climbing the wires, the chimpanzee was electrocuted. The monkey lost control of its body for a few seconds and only had time to recover when it was already hanging over the precipice, holding onto the live wire with one hand. No matter how well these creatures climbed, the monkey's strength gave out and it collapsed to the ground. Luckily, there were people there in time with an already prepared canvas for the animal. The animal fell right on top of it, so it had a soft landing. Fortunately, the chimpanzee was treated immediately, so the primate was all right. A friend won't leave you in trouble, won't ask too much. That's what a true, faithful friend means. I don't know about you, but those are the first words that popped into my head after watching the following video. It showed a little monkey caught under an electric wire. Because of the constant, incessant discharge, the monkey was unable to get out of there by itself. There was no way people could help the poor animal, it was too high up. The only one that could and did come to the rescue was the monkey's congener. As small as it was, the member of its genus ran up to the victim, unhooked it from the wire, and took it to safety. If the poor thing had fried like that for another 30 seconds or a minute, it would be possible to say goodbye to the animal. Fortunately, it was still in one piece, though not unscathed. Don't go over the fence, it'll be bad. So they told this goat, but still, interest prevailed, and one day the animal tried to taste the forbidden fruit in the face of the fence. Well, you can see for yourself what happened. The goat was instantly electrocuted by 5,000 volts. For many, this value could have been fatal, but on that day, luck was on the side of the animal. Bad day. One might think that the bird in the following video was having a bad day, putting it mildly. It just got electrocuted and literally evaporated. It was like it wasn't a bird at all, but a soap bubble. But I figured it out. These cunning little feathered creatures had outrun humans in development and invented a time machine. The bird was teleported under the guise of lethality because if you slow down the video, you can't find any fall there. Joking aside, it's quite possible that this video may be fake, even though real situations of electrocution on such cuties looks just like this. Write in the comments, what do you think of this video? Are we being fooled, or is this really possible? Bear. The next video started off very cheerfully. The local favorite, a big bear, started climbing up the pole looking for something interesting. But the bear had no idea that it was putting itself in a difficult situation. After a few moments, the bear realized everything. It was trapped. One wrong move and its furry butt would be fried by a hellish discharge. People were trying in every way to help the bear, and a team had even arrived that could provide first aid. But the rescuers couldn't wait. The panicked animal first got a weak charge, which made it seriously think about going down, and then it got its butt fried, just as I predicted. But don't rush to think that such an incident was fatal for the bear. Not at all. The bear survived, and it was fine, really. The animal didn't even need any special help. Most likely this was due to its large size and not the most powerful electric shock. If the previous story touched you and you still need at least a few seconds to calm down, I suggest you check out another electrocution video of a rather positive nature. In the video, two young girls come up with their dogs to a place where donkeys and other animals graze. While the girls themselves are reasonable people, the dogs, our faithful friends, can sometimes do crazy things. That's exactly what happened in this video. One of the dogs got electrocuted when it tried to touch the fence and ran away screaming. The donkey saw it all as if it was waiting for it to happen. It didn't hold back its emotions and laughed. This wave of positivity was immediately picked up by the two girls, the owners of the dogs. They'd already forgotten that their beloved pet had been electrocuted. Most likely, the donkey itself got a similar blow and it learned by experience, just making fun of other creatures which have not yet tasted electricity. An animal to which everything is not enough. Now I'll show you a short video of a squirrel that obviously isn't getting enough of everything all the time. You can tell it from the video. You can see how the cute animal immediately shocks by wires carrying electricity. The dazed creature still takes the blow and manages to get out of the not-so-simple situation. The squirrel is unharmed. For a while, it looks around to see if anyone else has seen its shame. Then it realizes that no one's around. The animal decides to make sure that the wires were the cause of the shock and now deliberately steps into them. It immediately gets another shock of electricity and this time runs forward along the fence. Who knows what happened next, though? The fence went forward and so did the electricity. How many more times do you think the squirrel tested the wires? A horse has learned a lesson. There are no outside visitors in this video, just a lot of horses resting on their territory. Two of them, the ones in the foreground, are drinking water. The white horse raises its graceful muzzle and, either losing its bearings or simply forgetting that the wires are live, is electrocuted. Of course, it's not as powerful discharge as in some of the other videos, but you have to admit it would be strange if a farmer were to hit his horses with powerful electric shocks, wouldn't it? A little chimpanzee learns from its mistakes. In the wild, you can only learn something by seeing an example or being personally involved in a situation, and monkeys are no exception to this rule. In the video, one of the zoo visitors filmed a monkey that had got off its mother's torso and went wandering around. The first interesting thing that caught the monkey's eye was this fence. No one goes near it, but it's very strange and unusual looking. The desire to learn something new hit the little monkey, but if I were it, I would not get upset. First of all, it's an experience. Secondly, nothing terrible happened. The voltage there is not so great. And thirdly, it always has loving parents as well as other representatives of their caring family, which at the slightest trouble will immediately cover the monkey with their bodies and heal its wounds. Curiosity killed the cat. Such a saying could perfectly describe the situation in this video. A bear came close to the fence of a house near the forest. The bear wondered, "What's that thing stretched over the fence? Could it be something tasty?" Stretching out its face, the bear got not the most powerful but still an unpleasant shock, which immediately made it run. Well, what'd you expect? It's probably the only way to fence your territory if you live in the wilderness. Otherwise, every time you went outside, you'd see animals resting in your yard, and that's a great danger. And now I'll show you the most dangerous river fish in the world, electric eel. Do you guys happen to have a power bank? because we're right in the middle of the Amazon River and I really want to take a picture of this beauty. Oh, I think I have an idea. We should swim up to the shore and get some power from that fish over there. There really are a lot of legends and speculation surrounding this fish. The main misconception is that the electric eel is not really the eel, rather it belongs to the catfish group. In fact, these creatures are called differently: the gymnotiforms, or the South American knifefish. For a long time, it was believed that the electric eel is the only species in the Amazon, but recently, curious ichthyologists began to compare the structure of the head of the fish, studied their genotype, and found that there are in fact as many as 3 species of electric eels. They differ from each other not only in appearance but also in voltage. The weakest one can give up to 400 volts, which is about 8 times the fatal voltage for humans. The other 2 types give 600 and 800 volts respectively. And yes, like you, I too have already imagined this creature swimming through the waters of the Amazon River, electrocuting everyone left and right, and generally causing total chaos. But the electric eel is too lazy for that kind of epic. Its maximum is to swim up, feeling hungry, deliver 3 to 4 discharges in the area with small fish, stun them, and swimming closer, suck up the prey. Well, and then the eel goes back to sleep again. This creature cannot be said to be friends with a human. Lethal outcome can occur, but only if the human has a weak heart. Otherwise, it's possible to survive. But young caimans and anacondas are the ones that the electric eel can kill with pleasure. However, only mature fish with a length of 5 to 6.5 feet and weighing about 44 pounds can do this. Moreover, the lion's share of the weight is made up by the organs that generate the discharge. These, by the way, are nothing more than modified muscle cells. By the way, electric eels attack in a rather curious way. They do not adhere to the tactics of defense, but on the contrary, they jump towards the adventure, trying to press against the offender or a possible prey with their whole body. In this way, the eels are able to kick it as much as possible with all their cells. Speaking of electrocution, did you know that electric eels don't just do that during an attack or defense? These very discharges also help them navigate their way around. The fish shoots around itself with discharges of 10 volts and makes up for itself a 3D picture of the surrounding world. Goliath tigerfish. One of the most unusual freshwater fish, a real river monster, the mere sight of which gives many people chills. The scientific name of the fish, Goliath, in Latin means giant water dog. The name alone doesn't bode well. Nevertheless, for some reason, people try to catch this creature from shallow rivers or bodies of water in Africa. Due to its powerful physique, the Goliath tigerfish can swim even against the current, making it a real challenge for the best fishermen to catch it. This tigerfish makes such commotion because it devours literally everything it comes across. Small fish are eaten by the monster just like this in one sitting. With bigger prey, it'll have to tinker a little and only then eat it. But if you think people are safe because they don't swim underwater, you're dead wrong. Somehow this fish ate over 300 birds in 2 weeks. Researchers watched it and came to that conclusion. What else they found out is that even a crocodile would not become a nuisance to the Goliath tigerfish. When hungry, the fish can attack it. Believe me, if necessary, the Goliath tigerfish would even devour a human in just a minute. The stamina of the Goliath tigerfish also adds fuel to the fire. If the fish has trouble breathing underwater, it can inhale oxygen from the surface. The main paradox is that while it devours everything in sight, humans can't eat it. It's simply not edible. So the desperate fishermen who catches them do so only to satisfy their own egos, but nothing more. That's all, guys. Which river monster struck you the most? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you later.